Bo, Islamophobia law has been not entirely scrapped. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I haven't seen exactly this. No, what's going on? What's going down?
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen watching will be well aware that when Labour took power, specifically Angela Rayner as well, and Keir Starmer, they were bang up on it. They were like, Islamophobia, it's awful. It's rooted in racism. It's a type of Muslimness and perceived Muslimness and absolute waffle, just crap. And they were like, we're going to enshrine it. We're going to get a legally recognised definition. And they began to workshop it. They had like a whole committee. It was all very secretive. And it was mainly populated by Muslims because they're definitely going to give the best representation of what Islamophobia is. Of course, not. Well, anyway, clearly that was going to be a blasphemy law by the back door. Obviously, like anyone with a brain cell knows that. It's pretty obvious. We've, long since been abolished here. And so there's lots of speech concerns over this. Not that the government particularly cares about speech. They're happy to quell that and stamp on it and just destroy it left, right, and centre. But they have now, in a weird about turn, just dropped what they were going to be doing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it very honestly quite odd that it just sort of happened on face value. And I'll get to why I think it's not actually that odd in a minute. So this is just one article. It says anti-Muslim hate definition reportedly rehashed amid free speech concerns, right?
Okay.
So a government working group will aim to focus on defining anti-Muslim hate instead of Islamophobia, according to the Telegraph. So still there, but not there, right? And so critics of the efforts to create a new legal definition of Islamophobia had raised concerns that doing so would create backdoor blasphemy laws. It's not just could, it would, categorically would, and curtail speech about Islamic extremism. Yeah, it would. Yeah. Ministers launched the working group aimed at defining Islamophobia or anti-Muslim hatred in February in an effort to help stem rising numbers of hate crimes against Muslims, which, when it's self-reported and it's a perception, and you're the most weak, weak of religious conviction and most sort of feeble-minded individuals possible, yeah, the hate crimes are going to go up. Of course they are. So obviously, if these people self-report, reporting on these crimes themselves, and they are incredibly weak and feeble, they don't have strength of conviction behind their own ideology, and they're such weak princesses about things, yeah, hate crime numbers are going to go up, of course. And make no mistake as well, these individuals will probably weaponize this, right? It's a form of weaponization. They know if they report these things, they know that it'll go up. They know that they can become victims, and the perception of them as a group changes, right? So anyway, point is it's basically been dropped, kind of, but not. So it's said to have moved away from using the words Islamophobia and Muslimness, right? That's kind of what they're moving away from. Okay. And so the new wording will aim to define hatred towards Muslims, but also protect free speech. That doesn't make any sense anyway. But obviously people have gone, well, that's great. That, and in fairness, that is kind of good, but I still think it will be pretty bad in certain ways. Now, the reason why I think that they've done this came out shortly after we were getting new polling, right? New polling. And you've got to look at what other parties are polling versus Labour to understand, I think, why Labour has decided to drop this or at least change it. Because if they were to introduce a bill, in Islamophobia definition, law, whatever, that means they can't critique Islam come the next election, they're screwed. Because they don't have Muslims as a target market anymore. The Greens have taken it. And they know that, I think, personally. And so you're going to see them try and pivot. You're going to see them try and pivot. They know that we're still the majority, the English, the British, as it were, as well. And I reckon they're going to try and pivot. And you'll almost see them come out and be like, yep, no, this is bad. Yep, no, this is bad with respect to certain groups, I think. Because make no mistake, do these people believe the things that they say? Maybe some of them do, but they're also career politicians and they want power. And they've been using that. Basically, they're trying to move on to a new client class. That's the way I see it. So there you go. Has it been dropped? Yes and no. What do you reckon?
I mean, one, could you scroll up or down a bit? I can't stand looking at James O'Brien's fat alcoholic mush. Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, either the client class has been stolen by the Greens or Jezbollah, or as I suspect that the Muslim vote will just pass to independent Muslims. That there'll just be loads and loads of independent MPs that aren't particularly of any party, or it won't be long before there's an Islamic Party of Britain which gains traction, and it's just obviously for their tribe. It's everyone votes for this. All the imams and all the male leaders of the community all just say you've got to vote. Everyone's voting for this now, whatever it is. Yeah, they'll move away from Labour. Yeah, Labour's losing or has lost a big chunk of the Muslim vote. Yeah, and maybe you're right. Maybe you're right that they see down the pipe that that they'll be screwing themselves. They'll be shooting themselves in the foot if they can't have any criticism of Islam. Otherwise, it's classed as like illegal Islamophobia. So yeah, you may well be right. The other thing I'm thinking here, though, is that it's still what they're saying there still seems very close. He said we still aim to define hatred against Muslims. Okay, so before it was absolutely a blasphemy law. There's no other way to describe it. There's literally no other way. It's exactly what it is, whether by the back door or whatever. It just would be. Whereas this, I feel like, is still exactly the same thing. They'll wrap it up in a slightly different bow. They'll put on top of the parcel. That's all. It seems to me. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Let's see what they actually come out with in the end. What they're actually going to do and say, and the actual wording of the legislation and stuff. But the fact that there's this apparent need within government to like create a very, very specific definition for hate just against Muslims. I mean, they're still very, very close to something like a blasphemy law, in my opinion. How telling is it that they're not doing that for other groups?
Right? Well, as we've reported on here many times, those churches keep burning down. Don't see anyone doing that. I mean, look, at the end of the day, even if people do hate Muslims, sorry, there's a wealth of history-laden reasons to hate them. We never should have invited them all in after, definitely after 9/11. Like, what an absolute freak show! Just like, yo, come on in, guys. And then 7/7. Oh, and then London Bridge. No, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, it is interesting to look back. I think, again, historians will look back at this and find it remarkable that the two things happened more or less in tandem. A giant rise of Islamic terrorism in the West. Because I remember the world before 9/11.
So do I.
Very, very little Islamic terrorism. Almost none. I mean, I can't remember a single incident. I'm not saying there wasn't any, but I can't remember any. And so after 2001, a massive spike in the graph of that, and in tandem, an influx of Muslims, and then also in tandem, a massive increase in legislation to protect that group.
Mental.
What an extraordinary and remarkable thing for historians to look back on and raise an eyebrow at.